Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Genix. Thank God it's Friday.
TGIF, my favorite day of the week. How are you? Rufai, I saw you dancing just now. Are we going dancing this weekend?
Thank God.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, all right. Well, let's begin what's trending in Canada, where a video showing shelters camping a group of Nigerians in Mississauga has gone viral. The Nigerians in the shelter are said to be awaiting their asylum request from the Canadian authorities. Well, according to the narrator of the video, the Nigerians in the shelter are living under severe weather conditions, which has resulted in the death of one young Nigerian.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're right here at the shelter in Mississauga. And, all right, this is exactly the spot where a young man from Nigeria died last week, Wednesday. Now, you see the tents they were living in, you know. You can see it all the way down there, you know, and you just begin to imagine how are people expected to survive in this horrible condition with the current state of the weather. You know, with the cold out here, I can tell you, some of us can't even stand 30 minutes outside of this cold. But yet, human beings like you and I are living on these tents in these horrible conditions. I think it's about time that the African community come together and make our voices heard about this situation.
Dr. Abati Rufai, this is one shelter in Mississauga. Very, very appalling situation that these Nigerians are facing at this moment. But you know, this video is coming as the chairperson of Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Erawa, in a video post on X, warned Nigerians against traveling abroad without proper documentation. On Thursday, she visited some stranded Nigerians in Brampton, Canada, who are currently living in a shelter for asylum seekers.
So while in Brampton, Canada, I visited one of the numerous shelters across Canada for asylum seekers. This is just one of the many in Brampton. And here we met with some of the asylum seekers here, young, vibrant Nigerians. We counsel them and hopefully we pray and hope that they will get out of this situation. It really is not quite a pleasant sight to behold. And we thank the Nigerians who have been supporting them.
You will need to endure. Don't have any expectation. The only expectation you should have is God at this point in time. Your case is in God's hands, all of them, okay? And as much as you can, in the process of trying to get your papers, don't pit Nigeria back.
But the key thing is, I hope you get out of this. But for the next person planning to do this, it's not worth it.
Well, it's great to see the NITCOM chair speaking out about this epidemic, I will call it at this point. It is good to see Nigerians that are supporting them over there in Canada. That is just one camp. I mean, we saw that young man canceling the Nigerians. There was also help. There was food donation. And then I believe that the mayor there in Brampton was saying that they were going to provide additional beds. But Rufai, this goes to your story yesterday about the heroes of Nigerians. Nigerians that are going through hell. We've taken stories of people that are stowaways that have died because they are trying to jackpot. I mean, where do we go from here? This is always my question. Where do we go from here?
So it's many things. Immigration itself is not necessarily a bad thing, but you know, the sad commentary here has always been about the fact that it's mostly economic-induced migration, the fact that things are not good on the local scene, and that's why we keep telling our leaders to do well for the people. But they've gone out there. Also, we like to call on Nigerians that if you don't have your appropriate papers and all of that, please do not go. And if you don't have your plans intact, do not go out there because it's quite difficult out there. I mean, look at the cold in which these people are sleeping. I'm happy that the chair of NITCOM has been able to step in, but can we also make provisions, where we have Nigerians stranded in cases like this to be able to help them? Yeah. Thanks to the charity for the Nigerians. I'm sure even before you see some of them in this shelter, some Nigerians will have taken some of them in. So this is those that are, left behind because they've been maxed out. They can't take them in and all of that. Those are those they are helping. But it still goes back to the fact that, yes, people emigrate for so many reasons, but the conditions at which they do that is what is important. Get all your papers right, get everything right when you do it. And also, we should also improve, the local conditions here too, because, I'm not saying immigration itself is a bad thing. Please don't get me wrong. I mean, there are people that emigrate for educational reasons, for many reasons. Even citizens of countries that are doing well. Americans emigrate to even parts of Africa and vice versa. But the truth has to be said, we have very dire local conditions here. But also, Nigerians too should open their eyes and see what is happening. Because some people also think, and I think this is also good for narrative casting, some people think it's a bed of roses, out there in Canada. It's not easy, My dad used to sing a song many years ago that somebody would say that, a lot of people glorify abroad like it's the end of the world.
Yes.
But and I think the song goes ahead to sing, I
always singing. Well
I'm sure Dr. Wati knows that particular song.
Well, you will teach me after the
show.
show.
The song was just saying that, it's good to go abroad, it's lovely,
yes,
but you have to do a lot of work also. So Nigerians should be prepared for things like
well,
this.
Like you
but
said,
kudos to Abike Dabiri, at least for
right,
stepping in, but we should do more.
Like you said, abroad is not a bed of roses. But Dr. Abati, these are asylum seekers. So, what is the percentage of these people? Who are these people? Are they running away from Boko Haram? I mean, I know one story about this young chess player who actually ran away from, Boko Haram crisis, and he's doing very well in New York. But we need to know, are these people running from economic hardship, or are they really looking for asylum because of the dire situation?
Well, it's a combination of factors. Yes, you are right. We have seen quite a number of stories. People say they are fleeing Nigeria because of persecution. Mm-hmm. There's even a recent story from the UK of a gentleman saying that he was being persecuted because he's gay and he didn't want to be killed in Nigeria. That's why he was in the UK. But that was found later to be untrue, and that he was using all of that to defraud people. But the majority of the people who leave Nigeria do so for economic reasons. There's this mythology that, life is better, the grass is greener on the other side, and that every other place guarantees you prosperity except Nigeria. The lesson that many Nigerians are beginning to learn is that the streets of New York are not paved with dollars or gold that you can just pick up. It's not easy, even out there, for the people who are citizens. So they go to these countries and they are confronted with economic, cultural, and social disconnect. Now, Canada became quite popular in the last few years because it is assumed that if you go to Canada, you are likely to get what they call stay, very quickly. You are going to be guaranteed a good job. But the truth, as we have seen, in this video from Mrs. Sauga, and as Abike Dabiri had pointed out from a visit to another shelter in a place called Brampton in Canada, is that many Nigerians are finding it difficult. And that the Japa syndrome is not a guarantee, it's not a passport to better life elsewhere. And that is why now people are even beginning to talk about Jakpada. There is Japa. The opposite of Japa is Jakpada.
Yes.
So if you leave Nigeria, you think you will get better life elsewhere. There are people abroad who are Jakpadaing. They are coming back home because they've discovered that with all the difficulties in Nigeria, this is probably still the surest place where they can be guaranteed their respect as human beings. Now, what NITCOM, the Nigeria Diaspora Commission, has now done is to issue a statement to warn Nigerians to say that, look, if you are not properly documented, don't japa, because if you get there, you don't have papers, you are going to suffer. There are many Nigerians on the streets of Canada who have no jobs, who are just suffering in that cold weather, very harsh weather, but this is just a lesson. In the UK now, for people who want to go to the UK, if you check the front pages of newspapers in UK today, they are saying they no longer want care workers from other parts of the world. They don't want foreign NHS workers. And that Prime Minister Sunak should take a look at immigration policies and check migration. Last year alone, The Office of National Statistics is saying about 740,000 people entered the UK. So many of these countries are not going to be very friendly towards immigrants. In Netherlands, a man, Geert Wilders, who is a far-right, hard-right person, is even saying that the attitude, if he makes it to become prime minister, his attitude to migration will be zero. Nobody will be allowed to enter Netherlands, whether you are from Nigeria or you are from some other place. So Nigerians, this is a teachable moment for Nigerians, and the video that has been shown and the statement by the Diaspora Commission is a cautionary tale for those Nigerians who think that they will make it abroad. There are many Nigerians abroad who are suffering, and they are jakpadaing.
Jakpadaing. Many Nigerians have died. I like that word, jakpadaing. Let's encourage more people to come back to help the country. Yesterday, I took the story of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu while he was in Germany, saying that he should be hailed, or he needs to be added into the Guinness World Records for some of his policies and his policy reforms. Well, he's not the only one speaking. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, has said that Nigerians are happy and are satisfied with the ongoing initiatives of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, despite the prevailing economic hardship many are facing. Wike made the comments while conducting an inspection of ongoing road construction projects in the capital city on Wednesday.
They are very happy. They feel satisfied with what we're doing with the administration of Aswati Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's not the magic. It's a matter of commitment. It's a matter of, look, I'm interested in this to satisfy my people. When you do the right thing, people will jubilate. And it's like it was a spontaneous. So it's not about telling people you are coming. No, it's spontaneous. So and they have suffered, they know. And look at the road is being put on, and they know that it's their own satisfaction. Economic activities here will boom. And this is what the people want. It's not theories and theories and theories. It is being practical. Let them see the action. And they have lost hope. But by the president's agenda, the hope agenda, hope is coming back to the people. They have no confidence in governance, in government.
Well, that's Wike there. Meanwhile, the governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, during a television interview on Thursday, said that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration inherited a dead economy from its predecessors. Soludo made the comment while explaining his role in putting curbs on monetary structures when he headed the Central Bank of Nigeria between 2004 and 2009. During the interview, Soludo accuses CBN of illegally printing money and failing to comply with the 2007 CBN Act, which prevents the Apex Bank from lending recklessly to the federal government, adding that the current monetary trajectory was avoidable in the first place. I mean, Dr. Batirufai, while I was away, we took the story of Nuhu Ribadu saying that Nigeria is bankrupt. At this point, we are seeing Soludo also saying, towing the same line, basically saying that, this is a complete dead horse at this point, Nigeria is. So
a couple of stories. Mr. Wike, when Mr. Wike said all Nigerians are happy and pleased, he just gave an opinion. There's no empirical facts to that statement. There's no source. There's no questionnaire, there's no survey done. So it's just an opinion. As there is a right to his own opinion. But it doesn't mean his opinion is true. Pervasively, a lot of people are suffering in this country as we speak. There's a lot of hunger, there's a lot of poverty. Inflation is 27%. Over 100 million people are living in poverty. That's the reality on ground based on statistics and empiricals as regards the Nigerian situation. That's what I want to hold on to. Secondly, as regards Mr. Soludo, Professor Soludo speaking now, let's ask him, wasn't he economic advisor to the administration that bankrupted Nigeria? Wasn't he a governor under Buhari's administration? What did he voice or what did he say? All of this is just medicine after there's just narrative plotting. Because when you were there, the only person I respect on this matter is Governor Obaseki that spoke out. When Governor Obaseki was shouting that they were printing money, a lot of people ignored him and all of that. He was correct. It's been proven right. Governor Soludo was economic advisor in this country. He was part of the special team President Buhari set up
to revamp the economy. What advice did they give President Buhari? Did he come out and say, oh, these were the things we said, though? So he should answer that question. He was also a governor at the tail end of Buhari's administration, because they are so quick to blame President Buhari now. And that's why he should answer that question. Secondly, I would like to say again, please, we want Nigeria to be good. And in Nigeria being good, let us tell ourselves the truth about narrative. Let us speak with empirical facts. Let's not just keep saying, oh yeah, things, economy is dead. The reason why leaders are in position is to be able to revive the economy. Yes. The question we should ask him is, what is he doing to revive his own economy in Anambra?
Yeah, that's another question. There's a budget proposal too that was supposed to be questioned.
Governor Soludo is not the first person to say that President Tinubu inherited a dead economy or a bad economy. You have cited the example of Nuhu Ribadu, the National Security Advisor, who said that it was a bankrupt economy that President Buhari left behind. This week, in my column at the back page of this day newspaper, I pointed out that as far back as 2016, Emir Sanusi II also pointed out that they were mismanaging the economy. That was 2016.
Imagine.
After him, President Obasanjo also spoke up and said, well, he knew that economics is not one of the strengths of President Buhari, but he didn't know that it would be this bad.
It's horrible.
And he sounded a note of warning. Then you add to that Obaseki. So these warnings have been coming even before now, and nobody did anything about it. One of the issues I raised in the piece that I referred to is that the President Buhari set up a Presidential Economic Advisory Council of, if you check the list, most of the people there, whether it's Ojogu or Doyin Salami or Soludo, Vismakrewane, all of them were parading first-class honors in economics. Very bright people brought together to advise the Buhari administration. What did that Economic Advisory Council, what did they do? What advice did they give? I think Professor Soludo and others will still have to tell us what exactly they did, whether nobody listened to them.
Well, that's what Soludo is saying.
Because
nobody's
the point,
listening.
Well, at that time, everybody thought that that team was going to perform magic, but it didn't happen. Ways and means that is referring to is a violation of the CBN Act of 2007. And we have had Tilewa Adebajo and others here complaining and saying that this is a criminal offense. You can't just print money and lend money to government beyond the threshold. That's one of the issues we will have to address. Finally, Chukwuma C. Soludo is a professor of economics. He should know what he's talking about. He has been Chief Economic Advisor of Nigeria. He has been CBN governor. He's a professor of economics. He's been consultant to IMF, to World Bank, to all the big institutions. So you can't teach him economics. He knows the subject. Yeah. But if you look at that cap on his head, he says solution is here.
Oh, wow.
I once wrote a piece in The Guardian, which I titled The Soludo Solution. So what I expect the professor to offer us is the solution.
Yes.
Now that he has identified the illegality, which the Economic Advisory Council could not address, what is the solution?
Yeah.
What is the way forward? What is the solution with regard to this bad economy? Because it's not enough for the administration, from Wale Edun to Nuhu Ribadu to everybody else, to keep telling us we inherited bad economy. We inherited bad economy. President Tinubu has told us we inherited assets and liabilities, right? We will deal with the liabilities. We expect this administration to deal with the liabilities, including the bad economy that they inherited, especially now that President Tinubu says he wants to be in the Guinness Book of World Records.
He can be in the Guinness
Let him work towards it by addressing the problems.
Yeah, being in the Guinness Book of World Records takes a lot. A lot of Nigerians will be saying, we inherited a bad economy, we are bankrupt. But you know, we had a supplementary budget of 2.17 trillion, where we had 1.5 billion to the office of the First Lady, and we had the yacht and all of that.
Are you supposed to be used
are the questions.
supplementary
Maybe I'm
budget
not
to buy cars.
Exactly.
Why did Soludo speak against that one?
Those are the questions. We are looking for Guinness Book of World Records. We have to get there in a proper way. As we continue to review budget performance reports across the states, we'll head over to Kogi State now, where the Yahaya Bello-led administration is said to have spent the sum of 727 million naira to purchase 2 Toyota buses for members of the House of Assembly without appropriation to make the purchase. The lawmakers are said to have approved 80 million naira for the purchase of the buses in the 2023 budget. Further breakdown of the budget also revealed that 951 million naira was spent on honorarium, refreshment, meals and welfare in the first 9 months of 2023, and a total of 11 million naira out of the 64 million naira budgeted on burial expenses was also spent between January and September. Dr. Batirufa, you both interviewed people from Abia State trying to defend that glutton. What did you call it? The glutinous budget of the Abia State government. And now we are seeing.
They've said that is not true.
That is not true.
That was their right of reply.
But we took that story actually, and we did say the same thing on that day, that it was for all the administration and all of that. Well, in the meantime, the Commissioner of Finance in Kogi, in a statement on Thursday, alleged that Yahaya Bello has directed the freezing of all state and local government accounts with immediate effect. Rufai, over to you.
I think
that's the statement there.
I think the Kogi State government needs to do a right of reply. And we're offering them the chance. They need to come out here and be able to defend. But
yes,
if you are buying 2 Toyota buses for that humongous amount, it is very expensive. But the problem is our governors don't even learn. Can't you buy those cars from Nord and Innoson? Innoson even does CNG buses. You know, Nord too can do CNG buses and all of that. And other car makers, Jet, there's another one by Chidi Agere, Jet Motors, Nigeria made. You can tell them to make it purpose-built for you and put the money in the Nigerian economy. But we keep developing the Japanese economy, so they must explain. And the commissioner too must be able to tell us why are they, freezing the account. Is it to be able to review things like this, or is it a transition mechanism? Because the governor too is on his way out. Well, Kogi already has a new governor, it's just swearing in that remains. But what is most important is, it is obvious now that citizens are beginning to see how leaders actually spend their money.
Yes.
And that's why you see people want to die for rigging elections and doing all the election shenanigans. Because in the end, it's not really to help the people, but it's to enrich yourself. But you can't keep doing this at the expense of suffering Nigerians.
Absolutely. My issue is the 951 million.
No, they have a right of reply.
They have a right. I mean, they need to. Yesterday, I highlighted that video of former First Lady Michelle Obama talking about the fact that, yes, they lived in the White House for free, but they had to pay for their meals. We need to, come up with a system where that also happen across all states in Nigeria.
Well, very quickly, I think that with the stories we have seen, Abia earlier this morning, now you are bringing Kogi, these are budget reports that are pasted by the state governments themselves in all the instances. And we say that is good for transparency and accountability.
Yeah.
All the concerns that we may raise here may be of no effect, except the houses of assembly in those states begin to function, not as appendages to the office of the governor, but as representatives of the people who have oversight roles. It will be the responsibility of the state House of Assembly to approve the budget. If there is overspending, or there is violence, or there is abuse of the Appropriation Act, it is the duty of those lawmakers to ask questions. Otherwise, we'll be having this sensation. Okay, we have seen Kogi. Yesterday, you brought Oshun. The other day, you brought Abia.
You didn't get to talk about Oshun. I need you to talk about Oshun.
Next tomorrow, you bring Sokoto. Next tomorrow, you bring.
No, I'm going all the 36 states.
So it's almost a self-fulfilling situation. The main issue is that the legislature in those states must do their work. That's the important thing. As for the governor of Kogi State freezing the accounts, you recall that most times when there is a transition from one government to the other, the incoming governor, the first thing he will say is that they should stop deducting money from state accounts particularly if the person is coming from the opposition, right? It happens all the time, and the opposition party will be raising the alarm that they want to empty the treasury. What Governor Bello has done, although the man coming in after him is his anointed candidate from the same party, but what he has done, perhaps, will be a useful effort to be adopted by other states, so that when it is just a month to your departure, you stop withdrawing from the treasury.
Absolutely.
So what Governor Bello has done is to assure everyone that there is not going to be last-minute withdrawals in Kogi State. I think to that extent it has some value. He came into office 27th January 2016. He will be leaving the place in January. So there's just a gap of less than 2 months for him to go. Finally, I think we should set up a transition committee. That's also very important. The governor should talk about that. Apart from freezing the accounts, there should be a transition committee so that there's proper handover.
Well said, Dr. But like I said, you both always, you need a check for all your contribution. And like I said, I will continue to review all the budget performance across all states until we're done with the 36 states across Nigeria. I'd like to thank you both for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all next week.